Hey everybody, how are we doing today? So this might be the beginning of the end. You see, because financial issues have come up, preventing me from necessarily being able to pay my bills, including internet bill, so you might not be able to see me for a while, guys. Sorry to say. For those of you who honestly enjoyed my content, you may be without it for a while. So yeah. Sorry, but it is what it is. So, let's go out with a bang, shall we? According to Reason, Free Minds, Free Markets, which is a libertarian magazine, they say, Alexandria Occasio Cortez says she has a lot in common with many libertarian viewpoints. I find that very hard to believe. The Democratic Socialist Congresswoman also criticized Republican hypocrisy. Doesn't everyone, though? Doesn't everyone? Simply because you criticize Republican hypocrisy doesn't mean you're suddenly smart. Oh, it probably means that in her head. Representative Alexandria Occasio Cortez spends much of her time in the public eye, separating herself from the pack in Washington, D.C. Sometimes that means criticizing the GOP, other times lamenting what she sees as the sheepishness of her own party. But in an Instagram live stream last week, the Democratic Socialist Congresswoman told viewers that she does find some commonality with libertarians. She says, "I actually think I have a lot of common ground with many libertarian viewpoints in the Republican Party," Occasio-Cortez said, emphasizing her stances on immigration, the military's and privacy rights. Her admission comes not long after she and Senator Ted Cruz publicly agreed on the need to prohibit former congresspeople from becoming lobbyists, as well as to make hormonal birth control available over the counter. True libertarians, which many happen to be in the Republican Party, true libertarian viewpoints are pro-immigration, she explained on Instagram. Advocates of smaller government do indeed acknowledge that immigrants help the economy, and many dismiss the notion that the federal government is capable of determining optimal migration levels. Occasio-Cortez told Instagram viewers that her anti-interventionist and anti-war positioning fits in line with a libertarian mindset. From the perspective of a small government, there are Republicans who are very consistently anti-war and anti-military spending, she said. But those libertarian-leaning Republicans are an increasingly small minority within their own party. Just this June, the GOP passed the 2020 National Defense Authorization Act, NDAA, with a $30 billion increase in spending after last year's version allotted more than twice the military spending of Russia and China combined. While the Democrats' version of the bill won out in the House, it still increased spending by $20 billion. The thing about her claim is, and this is what makes it so frustrating, is that yes, many libertarians are anti-war. In fact, if you're going to be a libertarian, you're going to be anti-war. Some are pro-immigration, but there's so much more to it than that. The central idea of libertarianism is throwing out any and all economic theories beyond universal economic theory, and then ultimately saying, you know what? Free markets, small government. You can do what you want within reason. You know, it's almost satanic in that way. It's sort of a do as thou wilt. And of course, she wouldn't get that. No, she's clearly a big government type person. If she's a true socialist, there's no such thing as socialism that works without big government. Doesn't exist. Couldn't exist. Anyway, the hypocrisy isn't lost on Congresswomen, who criticized the intellectual inconsistency within their ranks. The Republican Party in Congress is no longer ideologically conservative. They are kind of this political mob, she said. You can't count on them to reliably hold certain views anymore because they will advance certain views of it helps the president, but then abandon those same principles if it doesn't help the president. The GOP has always betrayed its principles when it suits them. Democrats have done the same in contemporary American politics. No policy is bigger or more important than the party. Occasio Cortez is right, however, the Republican Party's small government ideals seem to have dissipated even more rapidly under Trump. Congressional GOPers have abandoned free trade and supported massive spending increases without offsetting budget cuts, and the party got a bit dimmer with the recent departure of Representative Justin Amash. The libertarian-leaning congresswoman, an erstwhile Republican who left the GOP because he'd had enough of his colleagues double-dealing. And with Amash out of the party, Occasio Cortez will be hard-pressed to find many libertarian-minded Republicans she can work with. The fact that anyone would even want to work with this woman, to me, is actually kind of amazing. But let's continue. Oh, that's the end. Wow, that was shorter than I thought. So she thinks she has anything in common with a libertarian. Pro-immigration, anti-war? Anti-war, yes. Pro-immigration, yeah. There actually are several libertarians who are anti-immigration for different reasons and for non-economic reasons, because immigration actually is good for the economy. And the federal government is not very good at gauging how much immigration is okay. But here's the thing. Okay, the reason why we have borders is to establish an area of land where a people can live. A country is not just a nice place to live. It is like a tribe. It is a group of people that live in a place with common values, common ideas, and a common worldview that they all hold in common. It is a group. It is human nature to have a group. And the border exists to protect oneself from other groups which may be hostile, and to prevent population displacement. I.e., look what the colonists did to the Indians. The Indians pretty much let everybody in. They didn't force anyone out, and look what happened. Well, some tribes were like that. But bottom line is, open borders leaves one vulnerable to the dangers of population displacement. I agree. Let the immigrants in. Legally. They can come, and they can come to a facility, and then they can learn U.S. law and culture, pass a quick background check, do a health check, and then they're in. And then, as far as I'm concerned, they're a naturalized citizen after that. But they have to do it the legal way, and there has to be certain limits. But yeah, the kind of pro-immigration she is something entirely different from what pro-immigration would mean in a libertarian circle, to my reasoning. So yeah, I mean, if she thinks she has anything in common with a libertarian, she's wacky. She's out of it, which should come as no surprise to you at this point. Concerning Alexandria Occasio Cortez, the big difference being she would obviously be a big government person, since she's a socialist, and libertarians, we're little government, free and open market. She is clearly not. Her shallow surface level reasoning, I think, should scare you, at least just a little bit. Anyway.